I saw a woman a couple months back, professional soccer player, right? She goes on to ESPN or one of these sports channels, and she starts bitching, going like, I don't understand, how come female athletes don't make as much as male professional athletes, right? And all of these men had to sit there and act like they didn't know what the answer was.
Strap yourselves in, gang. We're about to get a hilarious masterclass in the absurdities of feminism and the WNBA.
They had to sit there like dumbfounded, like, oh, I don't know. Why is that? That is a conundrum. I have no idea. Literally, I'm sitting at home screaming at the TV because you don't sell any tickets. Nobody is going to women's soccer games. You're playing in a 20,000 seat arena. 1,500 people show up. That's not a good night. The promoter lost his ass on that gig. I'm not saying no professional female athletes, Serena Williams, the women in the UFC, you know, but nobody's watching your sport. And then you're going to come and you're going to get mad at men. They keep doing that shit. Why are you yelling at us? It's not our job. It's not my job to give a about women's soccer, okay? I have men's sport to pay attention to. It's your bullshit, right? Dude, look at the WNBA. Dude, nobody in the WNBA got COVID. Nobody. They have been playing in front of 300 to 400 people a night for a quarter of a century. Not to mention, it's a male-subsidized league. We gave you a league. None of you showed up. Where are all the feminists? That place should be packed with feminists. Yeah. You didn't. None of you went to the fucking games. None of you. You failed them. Not me. Not men. Women failed the WNBA. Ladies, name your top 5 all-time WNBA players of all time. Come on. That's it. Name 5 WNBA teams. Name the WNBA team in your city. You can't do it. You don't give a about them. They play night in and night out in front of nobody. It's a tragedy, right? And then meanwhile, you look at the Kardashians, they're making billions. You look at those Real Housewives shows, they're making money hand over fist, because that's what women are watching. And the money listens. You don't want to watch this shit, you watch this shit. They just shoot it over there, drowning these whores in money. In purses, in shoes, in Botox. It's just raining. It's raining money. Yeah, so the money listens. You'd rather watch that shit. Real Housewives, bunch of women just tearing each other down. Well, maybe that's why your husband left you. Maybe that's why your husband left. That's why you can't have kids, bitch. That's why your ass is as flat as your titties, bitch, right? That's the message you sent. We would rather watch that than see a bunch of women come together as a team and try to achieve a common goal. We would rather watch them absolutely destroy each other. Yeah. No. And then in the end, you come back and you fucking yell at guys. And it's like, all right, so let me get this straight. I have to buy you a drink, stop the axe murderer from coming through the window, and I have to watch WNBA games for you? Like, when are you going to pick up your end of the couch?
So that's the one and only Bill Burr, a comedic genius, Boston's finest, and that routine on feminism was utterly brilliant. Now, you all know what he was roasting there, right? Take the woke lunatics over at MSNBC, for example. They couldn't help themselves during the whole Brittany Griner drama when she was jailed in Russia. These ultra-left activists disguised as journalists brought up the wage gap to justify their absurd notion that patriarchy was the ultimate reason why Griner was suffering in a Russian prison. If there were no wage gap, she would never have had to go to Russia to play in the first place, and there'd be no wage gap if there were no patriarchy. Now, you all know the wage gap between men and women is a myth, right? The notion that men make 23 cents more on the dollar than women simply because society is unfair. A 23-cent gender pay gap is the difference between the average earnings of all men and all women put together working full-time. It does not take into account differences in occupations, positions, education, job tenure, hours worked per week. When those factors are added into the equation, the wage gap disappears. Even far left-leaning outlets like the Daily Beast admit that. Maybe the ultra-leftists over at MSNBC should have consulted their fellow woke ideologues at the Daily Beast, or better, Ronda Rousey, who could have given them this lesson on economics.
Rhonda, Lauren down here from the Herald Sun again. Just another quick one about Angela's question on equality just before. We've got quite a large pay dispute happening with our Australian women's soccer team at the moment. Is it frustrating for you as someone who's so prominent in your sport? And we heard you say on the Ellen show the other day you are the richest fighter in UFC, that sort of thing is still going on?
I think that how much you get paid should have something to do with how much money you bring in. I'm the highest paid fighter, not because Dana and Lorenzo wanted to do something nice for the ladies. They do it because I bring in the highest numbers. They do it because I make them the most money. And I think that the money that they make should be proportionate to the money that they bring in.
Hey, gang, you know that corrupt politicians like Nancy Pelosi have been using their security clearances to their advantage in the market for decades now. They know about upcoming legislation, incoming Fed changes, and a whole host of other inside baseball tips that gives them an unfair advantage when picking stocks. But thanks to a little-known SEC database, guess what? We can see what and when these people are buying as well. Not only do we get to see it in real time, but we get to piggyback on their trades to gain the same advantage for ourselves perfectly legally and ethically. My friend Ross Givens has been tracking insider trading for years, and his recommendations have led to investment returns of over 200%, some of it as high as nearly 1,500%. And according to him, there's simply no better way to beat the market. And now it's your turn. Click on that link below right now and learn how you too can learn to trade like Pelosi. Click on that link and learn how to gain an insider advantage for yourself today. Now, fortunately, we don't even have to avail ourselves of economic studies. We've got the art of comedy. We've got comedians like Bill Burr who say more truth in 60 seconds than CNN does in 24 hours. And what I really loved about what he just did there was he drew out the inherent contradiction in modern-day feminism. You see, feminism wants to maintain at the same time that men and women are absolutely the same, right? There's no difference whatsoever between men and women. If men are paid a certain amount for a job, then women have to be paid exactly the same amount, not a penny less. Feminists maintain that men and women are exactly the same, and yet, at the same time, they want to blame men for being uniquely predisposed to patriarchy and oppression. And you can't have it both ways. If men are uniquely predisposed to oppress women in a way that women are not towards men, then obviously men and women are not exactly the same. But if there's fundamentally no difference between men and women, then how on earth can you charge men for being prone towards oppressing women in this patriarchy? So there is an inherent contradiction in feminist ideology, and Bill Burr drew it out in his own unique and fantastically insightful way. The wonderful news here is that feminism has never been so unpopular and disliked, even among women. A relatively recent YouGov survey found that 33% of people between the ages of 18 and 24 agreed with the statement that feminism is to blame for making some men feel marginalized and demonized in society. A third of young people think feminism is a bunch of bunk. Now, this wasn't just a fly-by-night poll, some kind of snap poll on the internet. This is a survey of more than 6,000 adults. It was a pretty impressive sampling, and they found that fewer than 1 in 5 women call themselves feminists. It's that bad. 1 in 5. So now you can see why Bill Burr can get up in front of a massive stadium of people and deliver comedic genius on feminism like that. The world is laughing at woke leftists. And Bill Burr has just made that laughter all the more wonderful. Hey gang, I know what it's like to feel alone out there in these turbulent times, but I broke free. If you too have been looking for a community with like-minded patriots who are serious about resisting globalism, building a parallel economy, and having intelligent and deep fellowship on a regular basis, then you've come to the right place. In my Courageous Patriot Insiders community, we're building a close-knit movement of, by, and for patriots who are breaking free from the outrage and despair cycles of the mainstream media and taking on the fight against globalism. Every week, I deep dive into the content I can't share on big tech and give you the cliff notes on the truth of how patriots just like you are building up their communities, starting patriot businesses, and fighting the woke in both public and private. All with a few history and political lessons from yours truly, of course. If you want to stop feeling alone as a patriot and stand together with this fast-growing community, be sure to click on the link in the description below. Don't wait. Join me and my Patriot Coalition today, and let's get fighting.